The Denver Nuggets getting ready to take on the LA Clippers in game 6 of the first round series. The Nuggets, they have a chance to do something that honestly not many people, including myself, expected they could do, and that's beat the LA Clippers in 6 games. We're going to talk about game 6. We're going to talk about not leaving the door open for game 7. What does this team need from Jokic? Will Kawhi and James Harden show up? And who are the X factors tonight in game 6? We're going to talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your show every day, y'all. Welcome. This is Swipa with one of his besties, Ryan Blackburn, a.k.a. Ryan Chartburn, a.k.a. Michael Malone / David Adelman / Josh Kroenke's right-hand man, the mathematician, the roster enthusiast himself. Man, what a great resume he has within the Nuggets organization. Been there since 2016. Wow, how the world has changed since 2016, but Ryan has stayed the same. We're here to talk about the Denver Nuggets as they get ready to take on the Los Angeles Clippers in game 6 of the first round series, y'all. And I can't wait. This is going to be one of the biggest games of the year, and I can't wait to see how everybody comes out and responds. Y'all, today's episode brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox. No console needed. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. Y'all, game 6. Let's get it, y'all. Ryan Blackburn, how are you feeling today, my good brother? What's going on with you?
Man, I'm good. It's been a good couple of days here. I saw another couple of ones. The one up here is crazy. That's crazy. But no, I'm
nice
doing pretty well. Excited for this moment for Denver. They have an opportunity to close this series. And man, honestly, only the good teams are left in the playoffs right now. So it's just very important for everybody to appreciate that whoever comes out of this Nuggets Clippers series is a good team because they've lasted beyond 5 games in the first round. Because who would fail within 5 games of the first round of the playoffs?
So you have the Heat. The Heat that did that, Memphis, no Ja that did that, and then you had the Orlando Magic that was 5-game series.
Yeah,
and then there's one more team, I think that the Lakers, they lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves as the series favorite and the higher seed in 5 games. And if you were around, Ryan, they were very loud in our comment sections for a few months.
Thank you for the views, folks. Really appreciate it. Always appreciate good Lakers fans popping in and celebrating such a good quality team.
Well, y'all, I'm excited for this. So, Ryan, this is the big game tonight. I bemoan this a little bit. I believe, and you can correct me, the Nuggets have played in 5 game 6s, I believe. They got the 3-game 7 series they've won.
Yes.
Okay. They also have the game 7 series they've lost, which is Wolves and Portland.
Well, so they also, against Portland back in 2021,
they won that one.
They won that one, and
they won the one versus the Suns.
Yes.
So that
and against the Suns. So I think it's 7 different series that they've gone to 6 games.
7. What all the series? So it's Wolves last year.
The three ones that went to game 7s are
Utah and the Clippers.
Yeah. You've got the 2 that they lost in 7, including the Blazers back into and the Spurs. Don't forget the Spurs.
Yeah, those 4. Those are 4.
Oh, is that okay? So
Spurs. So in order: Spurs, Blazers, Utah, Clippers, and then Blazers.
Yes.
And then Suns.
Then you've got Suns in 2023.
And then you have the Wolves series.
And you got the Wolves series.
So what's their
and
full
then
record?
This one. So this is the 8th time.
What's their record in those game 6s? Do you remember?
In game 6s,
they beat
great.
Yeah, they lost to the Spurs. I believe they're up versus the Spurs. Lost that one, and then they lost to the Blazers in game. They lost to the Blazers in game 6 to 1 game 6. Do you remember?
Oh gosh. Well, game 6 against the Spurs, they lost. That was one where Jokic had
43 points. Yeah.
And nobody else showed up in that one. That was I remember that one and watching him and being like, God, this dude is awesome. This is incredible. Somebody please help this. That was the first time where Denver basically from a 3-minute absence of Jokic just lost the game in the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Maybe it's just me. I've been too plugged into this team. They haven't performed super well in game 6s, so a little antsy going in this one. But I think, Michael Porter Jr. Brought this up just the other day. They remember what happened last year. Like, they were up 3-2. They kind of, I don't want to say they relaxed, but they were not as engaged.
Well, they won 3 games in a row up until that point. I think they just kind of assumed that the T-Wolves would roll over. They would absolutely do that. So yeah, 4-3 in game 6s sounds about right. Of course, when you have to come back and win a series in 7 games, when you're down 3-1, you have to win game 6, of course. So Murray has had good performances, bad performances in these moments, but really it's going to take a village, man. It's going to take absolutely everybody. I think that this is about the stars mostly, but there's only so far that stars can take you. You have to get performances up and down the roster to see if everybody will show up in this moment and make some shots on the road, which hasn't really happened so far.
Well, it did happen in game 4, obviously up until
not with shots, right? Not with a whole bunch of made shots. It was just a grind, and Joker was incredible in that game. But yeah, Denver's percentages weren't awesome, and it was just one of those where they gutted it out in a situation where they really had to.
So if everyone remembers this is actually a great point in Mortis. You remember what happened versus the Suns in the first half?
Bro, you already know. I'm thinking about KCP's 20+ performance in
21
that,
points in the first half.
Holy smokes, man. Like, that dude was unbelievable. And it was hilarious because he was okay for the beginning 5 games of that series, and then just basically said, no, we're done. We are done. I am done with you, Devin Booker. Let me discard you here.
Yeah, well, I think that's also to the point, right? Because KCP, the game 2 KCP, the third quarter he had, that was like the one that got them back in the game. And I remember, KCP wasn't much of a ball handler, but he, in game 2, got a screen and then had drop coverage in front of him with the ball on his left and then a pull-up 3. And I'm like, KCP. And then in that game, he was just, remember the layup from KCP in transition in Phoenix, like crazy finish. So Brown, I think that's the point.
Not something I ever thought you would say, a crazy transition finish from KCP.
Yeah, but I think that's what it is, right? I think you're going to need Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown in particular. Like, if they can set the tone today and they can play with the level of aggressiveness required, I think that's going to have a lot to say in what happens in the first half. And when you're playing versus another team and you're playing in this situation, when you play at somebody else's house and you're punching them in the face and they have to win the game, you can put somebody in quit mode, man. And I'm not saying the Clippers are quitters at all. I really do respect Harden and Kawhi. I really thought they've been really good this year. Like, they're both Harden's getting all the NBA votes this year. He played 80 games this season, had a really incredible regular season. I think in the playoffs, he's kind of been up and down a little bit. Even Zubac is getting all NBA votes as well this year. But it has seemed, Brian, like ever since the Nuggets have kind of turned up the physical dial, and they're not looking at the referees near as much. But on the other end, like, the Clippers are basically looking for the refs to bail them out because Brown, Gordon, Jokic, they're just playing so hard that I do think there's a potential for everything to flip.
I heard somebody make this point. I believe it was Zach Lowe. It might have been Rob Mahoney on that show, but they've just matched the physicality of the moment. And that's what it's really all about in the playoffs, is when the going gets tough, how do you respond? How do you amp things up and put yourself into a position where you can take advantage of the moment when you feel like the intensity is rising and you're not scared of that moment. You are not scared of anything at that point. And that's what you can say about Denver. They've been extremely resilient. I don't think, like, last year's failure, you can't really say it was because they were scared of the moments in game 6 or game 7. I think they ran out of gas, and I just think that they they didn't fully respect the T-Wolves enough.
Yeah.
They need to give the Clippers the proper respect, give the moment the proper respect, and not let this slip. Because if you leave it to a game 7, anything can happen. We've already seen that when Denver doesn't win the game 6, it either goes down all the way to the wire in the game 7, or they lose it. And
they're 3-2 in game 7s.
Yeah, so that's but and especially like when you lose the game 6, because sometimes when Denver comes back, it's a little different. But when they lose the game 6 to allow the game 7, there's a different psychological feeling there, I think.
Yeah, on the other side, we're going to talk about just, again, how do you close out? What do they need to do specifically, Ryan Blackburn, to close out game 6? Also, how did the Denver Nuggets make sure they don't put themselves in a disadvantageous situation in a game 7? We're going to talk about all that and more here. Locked On Nuggets. Man, did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. Now, if you ever find yourself flipping between apps to find one that works all in one place just for you, with Fire TV Stick 4K, everything's in one place, from Netflix and YouTube and beyond. So I'm telling you, this is the best place to be if you want to get all your content in one place. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, second gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second gen, and Fire TV Cube third gen. Y'all, we'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. We're back here for segment 2 of Locked On Nuggets with your hosts, Ryan Blackburn and Swipa. Y'all, make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing the content. We just crossed 10,000 subscribers, on the way to 15K. Y'all, great content being made here at Locked On by Matt Moore, Ryan Blackburn, and myself. Y'all, make sure if you're listening to this on the audio side, you give us a 5-star review. That way more and more people can listen to the great content and the smooth jazz voice of Locked On Nuggets. All right, y'all. So we're back here for segment 2, Ryan Blackburn. So if you could give me 3 keys, 3 of them, what are your 3 keys tonight for the Denver Nuggets to secure a victory in this game 6?
I'd say the first one is just stay attached. Keep yourself in a situation where, because like the Clippers and Intuit Dome's going to be rocking. I think that they're going to try to make a statement. I really do think that, like, after getting punched in the mouth a little bit in game 5, I think the Clippers will try to do the same to the Nuggets in game 6, take them out of their groove, do everything you can to be physical, committing a couple hard fouls initially, trying to bother and blitz and double as much as possible, get very creative. The most important thing that Denver can do in that situation is just weather the storm, stay attached, stay calm. This is a long game. It's 48 minutes. Even if you lose the first 12 by like 4, the worst thing you can do is allow that to go from 4 to 14 at the beginning of the second quarter. You have to consistently weather the storm, hit as many shots as you can. Don't allow the opposing team to dictate terms to you. Just keep weathering and take your opportunity when it comes. That would be the first thing I would say.
Yeah. Jokic set the tone. I think some of this is simple as that. Jokic and Murray honestly set the tone. Like, if you come out in the first quarter and then you're like, oh no, we're not going away quietly. This is not your year. This is not your moment. You gave us a window and we're going to break it open. And then now all the rooms in the house, they're about to be ransacked. I think this needs to be one of those games where in the first quarter, first half, they need to look, we're getting up to a 6-point lead, 8-point lead, 11-point lead. And it's like, yo, like, they're rolling to the basket. They're getting into the DHO. We're going to have to try to go zone earlier than we thought we would, but it doesn't matter because they're shot making. They're playing aggressive. But in particular, Ryan, on the defensive end, They're not giving them any breathing room. And if you're going to get a quality shot, guess who's going to get it? Chris Dunn, DJJ, Zubac. That's who's going to get the ball. Everybody else, you're going to see multiple hands and bodies. And Ryan, I think that's going to go a long way into determining how the flow of this game goes. The more you can jump on them early, the quicker you can get the W. What's the number 2 for you, Ryan?
It's just applying pressure. I think that's probably the second one. It's the first one was stay attached. The second one is apply pressure. And whether that's on the defensive end or offensive end, you have to make it feel like an insurmountable wall is about to hit you. And the anticipation of that is going to force the Clippers to either buckle up and get going again, or it's going to kind of get them to fold in some ways. And we've seen it from the Clippers before. We've seen it from James Harden before. And we've seen it from the Nuggets before, frankly. So they are not immune to this, which is why it's so important for them to stay attached and not give in that situation. But I think, applying the pressure and getting up into the teeth of James Harden a little bit, trying to force as many turnovers as possible. He has been known to turn the ball over in these elimination game situations. So if you're Christian Brown, the best thing you can do is just try to pick him up full court every single time and go for the ball every single time. If you get a foul, it is what it is. Denver can survive foul trouble with Christian Brown, but what they can't survive is James Harden getting going and getting downhill and getting to his step back for clean looks. That's probably, like, if you can force them to initiate in other ways or force Kawhi to turn into a playmaker instead of a scorer, that to me is where, like, they'll probably start to crack a little bit.
Yeah, my number 2 is James Harden's the mark. He's been the mark this whole series.
Yeah.
He's been the mark on the offensive end, especially whether it's Aaron Gordon, whether it's Yoke, whether it's Murray, whether it's Brown. I'm telling you, there's something to every single play, just like Luka in the Wolves series. Every single play, you know exactly where we're going, and we know there's nothing you can do about it. Make him a mark, because what's going to happen is the more you can try to wear him out and you pick him up full coverage with Christian Brown, and every single time he tries to get a screen and roll, Jokic is right there. And you're driving him corner high or to the sideline on every single possession. And look, I'm telling you, man, like, you have to continue to try to take him out of the series, because the less effective he is, the less effective the overall offense is going to be for the Clippers. All right, what about your last one?
I'm going to just say forcing the Clippers to like they're going to have to overreact to the Jokic Murray 2-man game. That's what you have to do if you're in that case. Send 3 even when Michael Porter's out there. Send 3 guys, Chris Dunn, Nico Batum, Ivica Zubac, James Harden, whoever is up top, force them to rotate, dictate terms. I kind of think that what the Clippers are going to do against the 2-man game to start is try to play 2-on-2. I think other than that, so they may do that, but they also may blitz and then rotate after that. But if Jamal gets going, if he in the first quarter puts up 10 points and Ty Lue is then forced into this decision, like, crap, didn't really want to have to deal with the Jamal Murray game again. So you got to blitz and you got to get the ball out of his hands. That's where Denver gets to be their best. That's where Christian Brown has to step up and make some shots or cut and just be relentless in those situations. I think that if Murray and Jokic can dictate terms on the offensive end and force a three-person like defense to try to over-rotate to them, that is where things will really, really shine for Denver. So make it so that they have to send 3. Do not allow them off the hook if they're only guarding you 2-on-2.
The last one for me, you're going to see that zone again. This time when you see that zone, you have to break it. Now, to be fair, they really started to last game as well. They started scoring a lot easier than they did the first time they saw it. But at this point, make it like unusable. This would be the 3rd time they've deployed the zone in a heavy format. Make it to where this is going to be the worst decision you made, because you're going to have multiple adjustments to this. You've had a week to look at this zone now. I expect for Jokic and Murray, that 2-man game stuff, knock it out. It doesn't need to happen. But if they're going to do it, Jokic, that means they got Dunn or Harden backside on you. Look, I'm going to make it every single possession you do this. Zoo's off defending Aaron Gordon. I am screaming, to the basket. And if Zoo's going to crash, AG, you got a wide open three, make him pay. Russ, you got a wide open three, make him pay. Porter, you got a wide open three, make him pay. Christian Brown, if he can hit a few jumpers today, that's also going to bode very well. He made 2 last game, and they were both backbreakers. This game in particular, if you're going to play that zone, the Nuggets, they need to do everything humanly possible to make them pay for it.
I like it. I think it's really important. It's like if you are shooting well, if the Nuggets bring elite shooting on the road this time around, it's going to force people to go like, holy cow, what do we do? What do we do at this point? Because you can't allow Jokic and Murray to each go one-on-one. Like, that's just out of the question for where the Clippers are in this situation. They're going to have to junk some things up as much as possible. Denver got to be ready for it, got to have an opportunity to really set the tone and really kind of dictate what is going to happen in this game. Because if you're the ones that are dictating things, then Clippers are going to be on their back heel. I really do think that there is some kind of break situations here with the Clippers.
Right. On the other side, we're going to talk about how they're going to approach Jokic minutes, how they're going to approach what do they do with James Harden and Kawhi Leonard in totality, and what are the X factors going to be for the rest of the night. And we're going to give our predictions going into this game as well. More to come. Locked On Nuggets. We're back for the final segment of Locked On Nugget. This is your host, Swipa, with one of his best friends, Ryan Blackburn, Michael Malone, David Adelman, and Josh Kroenke's right-hand man,
we
the numbers man himself.
This is just like,
man, many have
said the Boots right-hand man. Like,
many have said that he has deep influence within the Nuggets organization. That's here.
Fans, by the way, they think you should just like tell them what to do. Like, just come on. Like, what do you do? Just tell the guys like how they're supposed to do it. Like, these grown men.
Ryan, what should Jokic just, so the moment the tip goes, let's say they win the tip, Jokic just gets the ball to Murray, blows in his hands going down the court, right? Exactly every game. What should Jokic's whole approach be to start this game?
I think they have to run a post up for him on one of these first plays. I think usually what Denver will do in these situations is they can run kind of the floppy action that gets him into the post, running around the baseline. I want to see who is chasing him around, who's going to be guarding him initially. And if it's Zoo, if you're going one-on-one, like, just turn around, shoot a mid-range jumper, or pump fake it and try to get into the lane. And see what they're going to do with you in a post-up situation, because that's kind of how what the Clippers are going to look like, right? Are they going to leave Zoo to cook in a one-on-one situation, or are they going to give him as much help and trust that their guys are going to be able to cover up backside? I'm curious to see how they handle it, but Jokic has to identify that post look as soon as possible, and usually they start the game with that. If not him, then they'll try to run a 2-man game possession and try to generate an open shot for Murray. But we'll see what it looks like. I think that there's plenty of opportunity for Denver to sort of set what's going on with this Clippers team.
So what they do like to do, they'll run a double screen. Jokic will start off around the left post area. They'll run a double screen for him underneath the basket, and he'll come around. And if he gets a little bit of a gap, he'll catch it. He'll shoot that mid-range shot. I kind of want them to do that too. Just like get him moving. Let's see like how they're gonna cover it. If Zoo fights through the screens, how hard they're gonna play on the jump shot. Jokic, if you get it, you want to shoot over the top, go ahead. But if he's too close, say you get the ball and he's still running out there, you want to pump fake him, get down to the rim, get to the basket, push him underneath, turn over the left shoulder, get a finish. I do want to see something like that as well. Jokic, this game needs to be like, definitely be yourself. He's obviously much more intelligent basketball player than I am in way he processes the game. But I do wonder if there's a moment today like it was in Game 4, 16-8-4 in the third quarter. Is there going to be a first or third or fourth quarter like that from Jokic, where he just utterly decides that this is not the game that you thought you were going to win? I am going to shut the door here, and I'm going to make sure that by any means necessary that I'm absolutely abusing you. I do think there needs to be some of that where Jokic just comes out like a monster. And even Ryan, like, if he ends the game, because I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know if I expected Jokic to be averaging 11 assists a game in this series, just given how the kind of coverages he would be seeing.
Yeah.
But he is, because His playmaking has been incredible.
I agree. By the way, like the way that the Clippers were guarding him in the regular season, it was all one-on-one. It was all, hey, we're going to try to make you a scorer. It's going to be 40, 10, and 5 as opposed to what it is in this series.
Right. What 25.6, I think 12.8, and then 11. So honestly, like 2 steals, by the way. I do think that Jokic, and this is the thing, Ryan, in the first half, when Zoo was playing at the level versus Jokic, and like they were getting easy looks, like towards the rim, the corner, Jamal Murray started cooking. But also, Murray, if they're going to trap you, look, teams don't do this anymore, and the Clippers don't do this. Now, if the Nuggets make it out of the series, I think the other team will do this. But I don't want to talk about that. They don't play drop on Murray a lot. They have been hedging hard. Yeah. But they're also trying to make it as long and difficult as possible for he to throw that short roll, because they're like, no Jokic, no Jokic, no Jokic. Throw it to the corner. But I think, too, if they give Murray a window, Murray also has to punish them. Like, hit those jumpers. Make it to where now they got to extend their defense basically to half court, and because we can't fight over the screen long enough. And also on top of this, too, Ryan, this also going to go to Russell Westbrook, Christian Brown, Michael Porter. Because when the Nuggets do run the 2-man game and Murray starts getting downhill, they send a third weak side at Jokic so he doesn't have that pop out, because he's shooting 45% from 3 on the season, including the playoffs. They're just like, no way. So whoever that is on the other side of the court, you're going to have multiple open looks, Ryan. You need to make those shots, especially in the first half.
100%. This is where we get into the X factor conversation, right? Where these guys, if you're making shots, if you pull the defense away from the primary action by just making shots and putting yourself into a position where 3 is worth more than 2 in a lot of these cases, then I think that the Clippers will overreact in those situations. I think that there's going to be times, especially later in a game, where if Denver's shooting like 10 of 20 from 3, 10 of 25 even from 3, there's just 40%. It's not necessarily a whole bunch of Murray Jokic looks. It's Michael Porter spotting up in the corner. It's Aaron Gordon spotting up on the wing. It's Christian Brown pulling up. It's Russell Westbrook getting the catch and shoot threes in the corner. They're going to get opportunities. Christian Brown especially, Russell Westbrook especially. He's been great in this series so far. Just deserves a whole bunch of credit for being able to step up in Game 5, come back and really make an imprint on the game. How does it translate on the road? He wasn't great initially in Game 3 before going out, probably something to do with the injury, of course. How does he look in a road environment where they are probably going to be going at him and jeering pretty consistently? I'm curious to see what he looks like and whether he can quiet down that crowd. That he'll be yelling at him, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing the interactions with everybody out there, but it's going to be fascinating. I think Christian will probably be doing a lot of the same stuff. And Denver's just got to play with some attitude, man. If they can play with attitude and more attitude than the Clippers, then I think they've got a chance.
Game prediction, score, why?
I think the Nuggets are going to win. I have been known to jinx them, so let's be real. But I do think that I've basically predicted accurately what's going to happen in each of these games, except for Game 4, because I just didn't know what they had in them at that point. I think we're going to get Denver 110, Clippers 102. I think that's about where it's going to be. Denver's defense, when they've been able to lock in, has been really, really impressive. Clippers, same thing. Like they have a whole bunch of these guys that can bother Denver on a consistent basis. But it's going to come down to how much does Denver want to finish this series in 6? Like, do you allow yourself to relax a little bit because you know you've got a Game 7 at home? I'm hopeful that Denver learns from last year and basically says, "Hey, can't really mess with that stuff. So let's try to get out of the series in 6 if you can." I think that Jokic is going to be really, really good, and I think that if there's another guy that I think steps up from a points basis, Aaron Gordon's going to have a big game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 114, 110. I think that free throws are going to be what separates it at the end. Jokic needs to have a great game, but Jokic can have a great game, and it's like the playmaking, like, because it's just they're overcorrecting. Like, he starts off so well in the first half, they're overcorrecting. It's like 25, 14, and 13 or something like that. I want Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook, Michael Porter, at least 2 of them, I think are going to have a good game. I think Murray, he doesn't have. There's a chance for a Murray 30 ball today because he's Jamal Murray. Who knows? Like
I kind of don't think that there is much of a chance, just because I really do think the Clippers are going to overreact to what happened.
Yeah, I would say Murray's probably going to be in the 20s, maybe mid-20s, but some really important shots. Let's say relatively efficient. But the thing is, if Murray's efficient, then his shots are going up. So that that's more likely.
The passing, like the passing is just really, really important to that situation. And he has shown the ability to read it well. He's got to avoid the turnovers. And he and Jokic especially, because when Denver wins the turnover battle in the playoffs, they're really good. They are really good. And so if they can control the ball, if they can make sure they're getting up a shot every single time, just avoid making those heinous mistakes, I think Denver's got a really, really great shot. By the
way, we haven't talked about this enough, and I'm the one that needs to. Russell Westbrook, do you know how many turnovers a game he's averaging in this series?
I think it's like 2.
2.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which for Russ is incredulous. He has been so much more careful with the basketball. And again, I asked this because he was averaging 5 turnovers a game like the last 20 games of the year. But I asked, can he turn that thing on in his head? Lower risk, but the reward is the same, because once you go through the process, you're going to get the shot for you or someone else. But also, he's been a play finisher most of the series because that's just the way he's being guarded. Look, man, Russ has another good game. Porter has a game today. Then the 2 biggest swing pieces for the series have basically been those 2. But obviously, AG and Brown. I would say the Nuggets are going to win 114-110. It's going to be a dominant game for the 2-man game. I think they're going to do the best to box out James Harden. Kawhi is going to have a stretch in this game where he hits a few jumpers. But overall, the Nuggets are going to win. And then the Nuggets move on 4-2, get ready to play versus the team that shall not be named because we are not there yet. But, that's Ryan Blackburn. What else? What do you want to say?
Oh, no, it's just this is a big-time moment for Christian Brown. Yeah. He can disrupt James Harden a little bit in this one. Be 3 straight games that he's basically disrupted James Harden. That's a hello, how are you doing kind of moment in the playoffs for me.
Yeah, I mean, based on how he played this season, like I said, I didn't expect it, but he's been incredible as of late. He's been bullying, so it's been great. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. How do you think Jokic is going to play tonight? Who are the X factors tonight for the Denver Nuggets? What is your final score prediction for Game 6, and can they get it done? That's Ryan. I'm Swipa. See ya on the other side.